Hi guys! Welcome to another episode of The Last K with Coach K. We're counting down the weeks left before the first half-distance triathlon of the year, Challenge Subic. If you're one of the brave souls who signed up for this event, there are only 2 weeks left before race day, so listen up for some last-minute tips to help you climb strong all throughout the tough bike course. Tip number 1. Do your homework. Study the course map and profile so you know what to expect in terms of distance, water stations, gradient, traffic, sharp turns on the downhills, road surface, and temperature along the course. If you haven't done a recon yet, make the most of your remaining weekends before the race to ride the actual bike route. If you're able to schedule more than one recon ride, rest assured that with proper training, the course gets easier the more times you ride it. Tip number 2. Copy coach. Ride behind your coach or a more experienced rider every chance you get and try to observe and mimic their climbing technique. Follow their cues but make an effort to understand the logic behind them instead of just following blindly. For example, when you're told to shift to a heavier gear, take note of its effect on your cadence, heart rate, and perceived exertion to understand that using the correct gear and shifting as often as needed is crucial to maintaining a steady effort, especially on the climb. Tip number 3. Fuel up the hill. Because you're going against gravity, climbing naturally burns more calories than riding on flats. This makes your nutrition and hydration plan even more crucial if you want to conquer those tough hills. Eat and drink at regular intervals, especially when you're riding up a long hill, such as one energy chew every 15 minutes or so. Experiment on your nutrition and hydration strategy to find out what works for you. Tip number 4. Patience is a virtue. Climbing, especially when it involves long, steady hills, is a test of patience. Your goal is to keep your effort steady and to increase your effort by no more than 10% on the uphill and headwind sections. It has been scientifically proven that the best bike splits are achieved when effort level is as steady as possible from T1 to T2. Tip number 5. Get shifty. If you don't have a heart rate monitor or power meter to measure your exertion, at least invest in a proper bike computer that can show your cadence. I always tell my students to keep their cadence at 90 to 95 revolutions per minute on the flats and downhills and between 80 to 90 revolutions per minute when going uphill and against the wind. Learn to anticipate a shift and react preemptively and according to the changes in terrain. Note that knowing when to shift allows you to manage your effort if you keep the cadence constant regardless of the terrain. Tip number 6. Check your teeth. Count the number of teeth on the largest cog on your cassette, the cluster of gear attached to your rear wheel. If you only have 25 teeth or less, for a course like Challenge Subic, you'll need to have your cassette replaced to one with at least 28 teeth. If you still run out of gears and your effort shoots up as a result, back off on the cadence until your effort is within 10% of what it was on the flats. Lastly, tip number 7. Mix it up. Learning to climb out of the saddle can be a great way to give your butt and back a break, especially on long hills or rides. Just make sure you shift to a heavier gear before standing up. You should be able to climb at 60 to 70 RPM comfortably while standing. Try alternating sitting and standing climbs every kilometer or mile on long hills, anywhere from 10 kilometers to 10 miles or even more. It's a great way to pass the time and you'll reach the top of the hill before you know it. These are just a couple of climbing tips that could come in handy 2 weeks from now as you negotiate the hills of Subic and Bataan on race day. Be sure to check our next episode next week for more tips on running the trails of Ilanan Forest. Thank you so much for watching The Last K with Coach K. See you!